It turns out that emergency services were not even on the island when the fire broke out. This might be the reason why officials reported to opt out, not to sound the sirens, instead attempting to alert residents by cell phones and on televisions, radio, communication. But, yeah, with the power down, televisions wouldn't work, radios wouldn't work. Yeah, they were cut off from all communication when the power went out. Neither Maui's fire chief nor its top emergency management official were on the Valley Island on Tuesday despite wildfires that were being well underway. Yesterday, Thursday, August 10th, county officials couldn't or wouldn't say when or if evacuation orders for Lahaina was issued or how those plans had unfolded 2 nights earlier when the fire swiftly consumed the town. Here's an image that was posted to Twitter showing all of the homes, all of the businesses that were destroyed. There's probably about 1,500 homes and businesses that have been destroyed. The population of the area was over 13,000. There is currently way over 1,000 that are still missing. People and buses were brought in yesterday to evacuate out of the area people that had survived the deadly and quickly moving fires. The National Guard has also come in and brought cadaver guards. Yeah, it's gonna be bad, really bad. Yeah, with over 1,000 people missing. A lot of people jumped into the water and many of them drowned, trying to get away from the fire. I have videos on that.
Front Street.
This here is a video of the National Guard coming in. Yeah, it's a mass casualty event. And not only that, many people lost their pets. It's heartbreaking, the pets. There was images of dead dogs in Front Street Road. And another video I have of a woman finding her cats that tried to escape from their home before the fire wiped it out.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck, somebody tried to escape right in front of your house. Somebody tried to escape right there. Your banana trees. Oh, is that a cat? Oh, that's
Stay strong, dude.
It's a cat! He tried to get out! Oh my God! What's the power line? Oh, there's the other cat! Oh, the cat's trying to run away! Oh my God.
Maui Fire Chief Branford Ventura said at a press conference that the fire reached Lahaina so quickly that residents of the first neighborhood that was hit were basically self-evacuating with fairly little notice. They didn't get any notice at all. The first day was so quick, it moved so quickly, that from where it started in the brush and moved into the neighborhood, communication back to those who made those notifications was physically nearly impossible, the Maui chief said on Thursday.
Chief, we're not putting water on the one that had the propane tank going off. That one is burning too good for the amount of water we have. There was another structure that the brush all around it was on fire. We're protecting that one. Okay, copy. Texas 14, you can use this data one. It's right next to you.
Now, many of you have been asking about these fires and how it started. Well, here is a report from BigIslandVideoNews.com. For the Big Island, it says a brush fire that started on Kayo on Wednesday was determined to have started under suspicious circumstances, and Hawaii police have initiated an arson investigation. Police later explained that the Hala fire was initially reported as several brush fires on Mill Camp Road, and one of the fires may have been intentionally set. There evidently was 2 fires. One was an unintended cooking fire, but the second one they feared that was probably arson. I believe these are images I'm going to show you next of Front Street. The fire chief for Maui did not return to Maui until Wednesday. Maui County Communication Director would not say where Ventura had been. Maui Emergency Management Agency Administrator Herman Andia was also off island and did not return to Maui until Tuesday night at the earliest. Andia's agency Not the Maui Fire Department is responsible for any evacuation orders, Ventura said at a Thursday press conference. Looks like they're trying to switch the blame around because no one did their job. Andia did not attend Thursday's press conference.
Fuck.
Alright, the fire is just a couple hundred feet away from us now. Trying to water down our house. It's just destruction everywhere. And that fire is here.
Oh, look, it's up on the power line. Look at the trees burning over there.
Yeah, that's Ainanalu right there. Fire.
I don't know if there's any further now.
We just left our house. We had to evacuate fire. We just came to my ex's house, ex-wife, to make sure the kids and everybody's good. Her house is too close to the fire. Now we got to go to a friend's house. Down power lines, down everything. It's terrible, man.
Here was one Twitter comment saying how the fire started 25 miles away from the town. The island has 65 firefighters in total, and there are no forests on Lahaina. It's all surrounded by fields. Here's a real good example why everyone needs to have a bug-out bag and have all your papers with that bug-out bag for emergencies just like this. This man here is digging through the rubble of his home looking for his passport and other important papers. Don't be like this fellow and not be prepared for any type of disaster. As of last night, they were saying that 1,700 buildings have been destroyed. It's going to cost many, many billions of dollars to rebuild. And don't forget inflation. Now, I was told that there is only one road in to this area. And if you don't take the road in, and it's narrow, it's long, it's dangerous, things have to come in to the harbor from the ocean. Well, the harbors are now destroyed.
This is sad.
Fuck! Fucking 2 doors away from my house. Mother.
Josh Green, the governor of Hawaii, stressed that he was not saying the 1,000 people that were missing were dead, but merely that communication was impossible and their whereabouts is unknown. Today, Friday, August 11th, they're going to shut off the water to Lahaina. Reason being, all the water lines going into these 1,700 plus buildings are just leaking tremendous amount of water. So it's going to be turned off sometime today. Hawaii, right now, as I'm making this video, it's currently 5:30 a.m. there in Maui, where here in the United States, it's 10:30 a.m. So it shows you the difference. And sometime today, they're going to lose, that trickling source of water, which means food and water has to be brought in. I have another video for you. Oprah Winfrey sent in emergency supplies. What she supplied the people with was pillows. No food, no water, no paper towels, but pillows.
At least she came. Hi. I had a question for you. If I needed to find somebody, how would I do it?
Here's another image of Front Street of the firefighters that responded to the fires. Like I said, there's 65 of them, and I think majority of them are volunteer firefighters. 14 of them have lost their homes. Another word of warning for those of you that want to help the people there in Maui. Check and double check to make sure that they are for real groups that are actually going to help the people there from this devastating fire. There is so many scam artists out there, heartless SOBs that will take your money and not help the people there. So check and double check for any group that says that they are an organization collecting donations for Maui. For the 14 firefighters that lost their homes, The Firefighters International Union is facilitating disaster relief for its members. The community is stepping up to house them, but there is so many others that it's going to take months and months for them to find a place to stay. Here you can see all the water that is coming from the broken water lines. With resources so short in supply, please cancel your vacation there. All the resources are going to be needed to bring in the food and water for the people that live there. Like I said, just that one town has over 13,000. And with 1,000 missing, yeah, I don't know, it's going to be bad. I have another video for you of a family hiding amongst the rocks at the end of Front Street, and you can see the hot cinders. Shortly after that video was taken, the woman that was in the video says, F this, and yeah, they headed for the water. Luckily, they survived.
We're on Front Street.
This here is an image of a car's engine block. People said that the fire was so hot it was burning white. A lot of people are comparing this to the California campfire paradise. It's often referred to. That one there killed only 80 people, and I think this fire is going to have a death toll probably in the hundreds. Yeah, I believe the California paradise fire is going to be a mini fire compared to what has happened there in Lahaina. President Biden has just announced he's going to send another $13 billion to Ukraine. I don't think we should send them another dime. It should be sent here mostly first and start rebuilding our own infrastructure. We really also need to get on a war footing, which means start building our own manufacturing plants to get ready for war. Yeah, there's also reports of people that jumped into the ocean together, and one fellow survived and his girlfriend disappeared underneath the surf. So you wonder how many bodies are still there under the water.
Here in West Maui, in Napili Market Plaza is where this is, and they are giving out various non-perishable food, it looks like, and there's quite a line of people that are waiting to get this food. The grocery store itself is shut down. I don't believe they have a backup generator, which would mean all the perishable stuff is bad. But I'm told there are other locations here in West Maui where they're doing this as well. But we don't have any power, we don't have any cell reception, and soon we won't have any water either.
I'm now on Front Street. Made it this far. This is my favorite house. It was my favorite house. I don't know how to make it through. This is downtown Front Street. It's hard to even put into words what this looks like. It looks like a war zone. I'm ready for freaking somebody to jump out with some weapons. Unbelievable. See, I'm not alone. All right. That's not good. Poor guy. Gotta walk through there. Just not open it. But these cars are probably trying to get out of town, is my guess. And they did not make it. Put that in open. Check Front Street. Unbelievable. Alright, signing off for a little bit. Just because I gotta ride through this stuff. And I don't want to crash. Get a flat tire. Hit something bad.
I'm here in Lahaina, Hawaii, in western Maui, at the northernmost part of this fire, and there's a lot of National Guard on the ground at this point. There's a lot of law enforcement. There's helicopters everywhere, and you can't get into most of these areas. The smell is hard to describe. I mean, it smells just like a fireworks show, basically, but a lot more intense. And there's, even now, I mean, I could just imagine what it must have been like, you know, when the fire was coming down the mountain. I watched this fire come down the mountain, and I've never seen a fire move this fast. There was hurricane force winds behind it. It was hot and dry, and I mean, it almost looked like you were watching a time-lapse video in real life. I mean, it was insane how fast it moved, and I've heard stories from multiple people who have said hundreds of people had to jump into the ocean. A lot of them drowned. A lot of people burned, according to what I'm being told. The devastation here is just unimaginable.
With the water being turned off, it's going to be really dire for the people there. No internet, no phone service, no landlines. The only communication they have is satellite phones. That's another thing I want to talk about, is when the power was lost. There was many security gates, locked gates, that people could not get open because they were too big and too heavy. And one family got out because they smashed their car through that locked gate. They tried to push it open, it was too big and too heavy. So what about homes that have electronic locks? What kind of safety mechanism do they have if the power goes out to get your doors open? I don't know. So there's lots of areas they still haven't been able to get into because of the roads being blocked. The only way to get in is by walking. A lot of people have been walking into areas and providing videos.
Aloha, Hawaii. Behind me, you can see the devastation here in Lahaina. We're on Front Street. I just walked the entirety of this road with Senator Schatz, Mayor Bisson. It's extraordinary. It is tragically gone. We know that many people are suffering. The fatality numbers will climb somewhat today, and we'll have those numbers for you. Everyone, love your neighbors, support them, because this is devastating for Maui. We probably have well over 1,000 buildings that have been destroyed. Many, many hundreds of families have been displaced. We'll rebuild. The president has already, just in 6 hours, authorized and approved our request for emergency support, but it's going to be a long haul. Again, the devastation is behind me, but we will put hope out in front of us. Aloha.
But without communication between search and rescue and the cadaver dogs, yeah, that's going to be a big problem. With the lack of satellite phones, yes, there is a lack of satellite phones. It's really going to hamper communication. I don't know how long it's going to take to bring in new cell phone towers, or how they even would coordinate those efforts. The Animal Welfare Association in Hawaii is also asking for public support to carry out their work for pets displaced by the burning fires. I don't think very many pets actually managed to get out. They said they are running extremely low on space and supplies and foster families. They need donations for pet food and litter. This is why I always said when you have your bug out kit, don't forget one for your pets. Now, this is an image here of the fires that are still burning as of Thursday night. They said that none of the major fires have been contained. They did open up a shelter at Maui's War Memorial Stadium, but it is inundated with people. Two of the hotels that was destroyed is being reported now is the Pioneer Inn and also Best Western Hotels. Originally, people were told to shelter in place, and that's because of the one road to get out. They were concerned about bottlenecks on the roads. They said that they had told the people not to leave because they were trying to get emergency vehicles into Lahaina. Yeah, that was probably a very deadly mistake. People that are being evacuated by the buses probably will be put up into hotels on the other part of the island. Yeah, 14,000 people needing homes, place to stay, place to rest, eat. Yeah, get over the shock of what they lost. So that's just another reason why tourists should not be going to the island for a very long time. The 1,000 people that are being reported missing, I don't know if that includes the tourists. Like I said, there's no power, there's no internet, and there is no radio coverage. Governor Josh Green said that it's going to take probably weeks to months to get some power back up in the affected places. They are asking the people there on the island of Maui and probably other islands to open up their homes to those that are now homeless. Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson has asked residents whose homes weren't damaged to hold off from returning to the island until workers are finished recovering the bodies. That's going to take a long, long time. Evacuation centers have also been set up in Maui at different schools. Volunteers passed out water, toothpaste, sandwiches, and even coconuts filled with straws. Well, I think the only reason they're passing out coconuts is they have a lack of other things like water. Then there was another report how Hawaii Governor Josh Green held a press conference yesterday at 3:30 p.m. local time to discuss the disaster. And he actually took the time to do that, cutting his personal trip short. They didn't say where his own personal trip was at. Well, I'm glad he found the time to hold a press meeting to cut his own personal time, his own personal vacation short. They got a lot of challenges ahead of them. Not just the rebuilding, but the recovering from their burns. Yeah, that's going to be lengthy and painful. Get a bug-out bag put together. Don't be like this guy, coming back later and digging through the ashes looking for his passport and documents, probably the property and insurance papers, things like that. And always, please stay safe.
I'm Raylene and located in Maui. I live in Kihei and I wanted to share some local updates. Shocking, or maybe not. Did you hear about the fires? Did you hear that the government of Hawaii states their goal is to rebuild and make the entire island of Maui the first smart island? They want the entire island governed by AI, as outlined in the Hawaii Digital Government Summit of 2023, that they plan to host next month on September 25th, 2023 on Maui. Wow. Now they're going to come to the rescue for this horrible problem. And last January in 2023, there was a Smart City Conference in Maui to turn Maui, again, into the Smart City Island, pushing everything electric, making 15-minute smart cities. And there was also a contract last year to build a high-rise condo complex and businesses in Lahaina, which is a historic town that couldn't have any new development in this area. But now it's demolished. So now I guess they have to rebuild, right? We spent the morning trying to find places to volunteer to help. We feel helpless. There's so much going on. There's people who need assistance. We went to the War Memorial Shelter, which we learned has been taken over by FEMA. They've taken a whole bunch of supplies. People do not know where they're going. They don't trust that they're actually going to be delivered to people in need. In past FEMA situations, after disasters, they found containers full of supplies that were never given to the people. And if you go to the War Memorial, people are being told to go there if you need assistance. They are turning everyone away, saying that it's not a distribution center. It's a shelter, and unless you're checked into this shelter, you will receive nothing. And I will say, for donations on the island, please be considerate of your fellow humans, because there's a lot of moms that need diapers and wipes and formula, and everything has been purchased and given as donations, and now it is being hoarded by Red Cross and FEMA, not being distributed to those who actually need them. So ship things in from Amazon. I shared today that you could ship things to the Maui Food Bank. There's some other local organizations that will actually get your items to the people. And FEMA is also making people sign paperwork just to receive assistance. We did find, through local word of mouth, a place where we could donate our time today, and we assisted the Hungry Heroes of Hawaii at Buzz's Wharf in Ma'alia, if I said that right. Great place. If you need donations or if you have some to drop off, you can. It's a staging area right before the road is shut down to get into the Lahaina area. They were not allowing anyone through unless you had, if you had a supply truck full of supplies to help the people in these areas, you were not allowed through unless you had a specific contract or permission from a certain agency to come through. And where would you get that permission from? So lots of people are being denied. They're trying to come in with supply trucks to assist. This Hungry Heroes, they were able to get some trucks in yesterday. They were supposed to meet with the mayor and officials. They said they waited around for 5 hours being told to move to different locations, and then they were eventually kicked out and said, why are you even here? And they were trying to coordinate to drop off and deliver supplies. And they can get to the supplies, but there's nowhere to drop them off or give them to anybody because everything is so disorganized. They also brought 150 meals, cooked meals, to help the people who need them. And they were denied because it was not cooked in a commercial kitchen. So not being allowed to distribute. All the roads in and out of Lahaina are blocked except for specific personnel, and it's up in the air. We don't know anymore maybe if you're a resident with an ID. That was open yesterday and they supposedly shut it back down after a few hours because people were trying to take photos of the damage that happened in Lahaina. Heaven forbid that they go to their houses and do anything. There is a looting going on, and not just in the Lahaina area, also in Kula. There are boats making supply runs. Some of them are saying that they've had to push through barricades to get in and deliver supplies because, again, the government officials are trying to shut down local assistance. It seems like they only want FEMA and they only want Red Cross. Yet when you talk to people on the ground, where's FEMA? Where's Red Cross? They're not doing anything. They're not distributing the supplies. I did hear that there are supplies on the ground in Lahaina finally. There are some locals who set up Starlink stations so that they could get back online. Power has been out, water's out. They haven't had internet. And so they're starting to bring in some Starlink so people can get back online. They're bringing in supplies. People are able to access some food. Again, not a lot of information coming out of that area yet. There's, again, some people, you might be able to find other videos of exact footage. We talked to some people today, and a firefighter said that he alone pulled out over 80 bodies. And I think that's the count that they're giving you for the death toll. We're estimating that it's over 1,000 people. That's horrific. Why is the government being so hush-hush and shutting everything down and not letting people know what's really going on? When they had their very first press conference a couple days after the tragedy, all that the officials could do that I heard was blame everybody else, say it wasn't me, it wasn't my responsibility. If you didn't know, there were no alarms that went off. Even though we have tsunami warning systems set up all over the island, they could have been turned on, but they weren't. And there was a fire in Lahaina in the morning. The firefighters put it out and said it was 100% out. Well, from, again, reports, they're saying that that was a fire that restarted itself and ended up taking out the entire city. Interestingly, the McDonald's and Burger King and Safeway and Walgreens are all still standing, but all the historic buildings, all the historic downtown, all of it is demolished and all the houses gone. But those commercial big box stores are still there. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the response. As a resident of Kihei, on Tuesday night, we could see the fire burning in Lahaina. Check my page. I posted photos from our lanai. We had ash raining down on us. It was like in our eyes, blowing around, and we could smell smoke very strong, yet no alerts. We had no idea if we were safe, if we were in the line of fire. We knew that the subdivision across the interstate or highway from us, Maui Meadows, had been under an evacuation notice, but we didn't know about us concerning because we were having ash fly all over the place. We just talked to a local that lives in Kula tonight, and he said that there was a power outage. There was no cell service because the winds were so strong and they blew down the power lines, and they could see the flames and fire like right coming up. And many people did lose their houses in that area too. But again, no alert system, no way for them to know, is it safe? How do we even get out? Where's the fire going? They could see it, and just really a horrific situation. So what we're being told on the news is not what's actually happening. I feel like from every angle, the government is doing everything they can to shut down all grassroots efforts and all of the locals' efforts to assist in any way, shape, or form, coming up with all these excuses why we can't help. And people in the community are coming together. They're amazing here. They love their neighbors. They're doing everything they can. And then it's red tape, red tape, red tape, all this bureaucracy going on, all of these other ulterior motives. Everybody's worried about, the government's worried about getting FEMA funding. And also be on alert. If you sign your property over to FEMA, you may never get it back. Look at what has happened to past disasters. It is a huge scam. Yes, they're going to give you money, and then will you ever be able to get your property or rebuild or anything? It is questionable. And I ended up picking up some people that needed to go to the shelter. There's still people sleeping in vehicles or without a vehicle in parking lots. And I drove around for 45 minutes trying to find a shelter. The ones that they said were still open were closed 2 days ago. And I finally found one in Kahului at the high school, dropped them off. War Memorial, the one that's overrun now by FEMA, supposedly is full, and they didn't need any help. We tried to help. So it's chaos. And I would say that the saviors of the situation are the people, the locals who live here that aren't involved with the government agencies. They're actually pushing through, breaking laws to try to get people help who desperately need it. So please share this, get the word out that they are not telling us the truth of what's going on at all. Look at some of my other posts for more information about what's going on behind the scenes here, and I'll try to keep you updated since we're actually located in Maui right now.
This is the thumbnail image used by KHON regarding the plasmosis in Maui that just happened. And there's a major cover-up and a blackout in the media going on right now, so I might be a little bit careful about my language. As you can see in the top right corner, it says courtesy of Leaf Right. So this was a private citizen taking their own video. There is no video on YouTube right now of people from the islands who've posted their own videos. It's all being taken down. There's a major cover-up going on right now. But props to KHON, they used this as their thumbnail, and during their video, they replay this 10-second piece of video 3 or 4 times back to back in multiple different videos that I've watched put out by that news agency.
Managed to get to the Pukalani area where you are now. What are the conditions like now in that area outside?
I mean, if you were here watching the news or didn't have social media, you'd have no idea. It's so much devastation on the end. We were just dark and a little breezy.
And when you made your way there yesterday, what was visibility like and the conditions like the whole way over?
So I'm just going to turn the volume down. They replay this loop. You can see the truck pull up here in a minute, and they replay this loop over and over. They did an interview with this guy, Leaf Right. That's him right there. This guy's going to tell you that the video's being taken down off social media for graphic content. And if you look, there's nothing but official news outlets when I do the search for Fire Maui. It's all mainstream news outlets. So there is a blackout. There is a policy in place right now not to allow. This guy right here, he's the only thing close to a private citizen. Everything else is all CNN, MSNBC, mainstream news channels, CBS. There is no private citizens posting on social media on this incident that is allowed right now. And that's what you're going to hear this guy say here in a minute, is that they're taking down video, saying it's too graphic. But if that were, that's not true. There's a policy in place, pure blackout. Otherwise, there would be people's videos that they've uploaded that has no graphic content, like deceased people. They just don't want you seeing. So right now, there is nothing on YouTube from regular people. It's no longer YouTube, it's TheyTube, like cable news. Nothing but official news outlets. On YouTube, the channel of the people, no, they're not letting the people talk about this or show anything about it. It's all mainstream news outlets. Nothing but. Keep that in mind as you listen to what this guy says when he says they're taking down video of regular people. It's not just because the cell towers are burned. It's not just because electricity's out or they don't have internet. There is a policy on the social media out, at least this particular social media outlet, not to allow anyone posting private video of the plasmosis in paradise. Oh, there you go. Hawaii real estate. There's the first guy I've come across that isn't a mainstream news outlet, but that says 2022 August update. See what I'm saying? There is nothing here from regular people. For the most part, I'm going to let this one play all the way through. It's 7.5 minutes long. Listen to the things this guy says, including how it burned the boats at the water line, how people don't want to drive through the channel because of all of the bodies, apparently, And as they say that, you can see one of them in the street. He also talks about the social media blackout on this.
More in our breaking news. Hawaii's bushfire emergency has turned deadly this morning, killing at least 6 people as blazes turn out of control.
Residents and tourists have been forced to run for their lives, some jumping into the ocean to escape the flames. The island of Maui is worse affected, with homes and businesses lost.
Notice also the single structures with nothing else burning around them. When this is over, the footage when it does come out is going to be houses burned to the ground with all of the trees and foliage around them untouched. Notice that as they go through this.
Joining us from the island of Maui is Clint Hansen. Good morning to you, Clint. Well, what's the current situation in Maui?
Well, it is not a good situation at all. I've been running on about 2.5 hours of sleep and calls, messages from people trying to find out if their home is still there, where their family is at. Not just trying to get out in Lahaina. I'm waiting for to take me out there so I can get additional footage and check on people's family and pets. But right now it is a disaster zone. There are vehicles that are able to get out there that are able to deal with the emergency specifically. But right now, people understandably are not allowed to make a bad situation first. So I am biding my time and being patient to get out there to get more information. It was a terrifying night last night because fires were all over the island, threatening where I live as well. I came from Lahaina. I missed the fire by 30 minutes. And when those embers came up, it just burned everything to the ground. It came through with such ferocity that it burned the boats to the water line. Nobody expected this. They knew that we were going to see winds. We've seen fire before. We're not strangers to it. But it came so suddenly, and our resources were spread so thin, we were just not ready for this. And now, while 6 have been reported dead, I would not be surprised if that number is significantly higher.
Clint, we are just so sorry this has happened to your home and so many people affected. So this tiny little town of Lahaina, just down from the major resorts, which a lot of tourists in Australia would be very familiar with, what time did it start sweeping through? Would tourists have been there enjoying their night out as well as the locals?
A lot of people don't realize the fire actually started the day before. So when it sparked up again, there was minimal resources there because they were dealing with major fires on other parts of the island. It started later in the evening, right around, I believe, 4:30, and when the evening time finally came and sunset was at 7, the smoke was so acrid and dark you couldn't really see the sun set at all in my part of town, which is close to an hour away. So, you know, I haven't been able to check with friends. I've had friends jumping on mopeds to go out there to see their family and rescue their parents, and they have disappeared. They're not getting back in contact. So it's really terrifying, you know, to hear when children are being picked up and separated from their families because, you know, school was due to start tomorrow, so everybody was in a different place than they were ready to be and trying to get back into the swing of the school year. And they don't want to drive through the channel because of the bodies in the water. It's a really bad situation. If anybody can lend a hand, the best.
Right as he says they don't want to drive through the channel because the body's in the water, notice what's on the screen on the right, laying in the middle of the road. I don't want to get this video pulled for graphic content. Just notice.
Drive through the channel because of the bodies in the water. It's a really bad situation. If anybody can lend a hand, the best thing they could do is reach out to Maui United Way.
And it appeared to be a female wearing a skirt, and the clothes were not burned off, so that could not be the possible cause of their demise. And there does not appear to be a large amount of smoke around for smoke inhalation. So what's causing this? Why is there bodies in the water? We're talking about that in a minute. The police told people to jump in the water. You can see head, torso, skirt, and legs, and there does not appear to be burning. They're in the middle of the road. Something else might have happened here simultaneously.
Trying to get back into the swing of the school year, and they don't want to drive through the channel because of the bodies in the water. It's a really bad situation. If anybody can lend a hand, the best thing they could do is reach out to Maui United Way, where they could put donations, or the Maui Food Bank. And my favorite, of course, is Friends of the Children's Justice Center, which helps kids that are here on island. So please, if there's any help, I know Australia loves Maui because we love them, and we'd love it.
And that's the thing, not that many residents, permanent residents on the island, but so many tourists come each and every year. Just give us an understanding as well about the communications. You mentioned that very hard to get through there. Emergency services has been disrupted, mobile phones, internet is down. We're hearing too the hospitals have been inundated. What's the latest there?
With the power being down, of course, that disrupts communications, and people have difficulty getting to their devices, keeping them charged. But with the town just simply being burnt to the ground, those towers that normally provide a communications for cell phone are just simply not there. So there is no footage coming out right now that is, other than people who are coming in from being rescued or have gone out there to get rescued. The footage that has been shown is really mostly from yesterday. So slowly things are coming in, but it's so dramatic and so terrifying that a lot of the footage is getting taken down for being too vulgar, basically, because of how disastrous it is.
Yeah, and that's why, of course, the mayor has talked about this toll of six.
Maybe an hour. It seemed forever. We try to get shelter from the wind because it was so hot. It was actually burning our skin, and we had debris just falling on us. And so we were hiding behind this this little house right in front of the Lahaina Pioneer Inn, and we couldn't stay there any longer. It was just too hot. And so I called the police, and they told us to jump in the water. And it was dark. We jumped in. It was a lot. We couldn't stay there any longer. It was just too hot. And so I called the police, and they told us to jump in the water. And it was dark. We jumped in. We couldn't stay there any longer. It was just too hot. And so I called the police, and they told us to jump in the water. And it was dark. We jumped in.
Individuals in the Lahaina area who were concerned for their safety given the smoke and the fire conditions and chose to jump into the shoreline waters of the ocean. The U.S. Coast Guard did come and retrieve them and transported them to safety. We're told that all were accounted for. It was a moment that, that they made a decision on their own that also gives for. It was a moment that, that they made a decision on their own that also gives.
You hear her saying that they chose to jump in the water. They made that decision on their own, which contradicts what the two gentlemen just previously said, that they were instructed to do so when they called the cops. So there is some cover your ass going on here. But you know what? Maybe those cops gave them the best advice they knew how, because they know this ain't a regular fire, and your best bet is to jump in that water, and later on we'll deny we ever even told you to avoid lawsuits. But at the time, it is your best bet, because this ain't a normal fire. Notice here's another individual house on fire with no foliage around it on fire. I don't have to convince viewers of this channel of what this is. That tree burning on the inside of the first of the video is all you need to see to know what this is. But this is next level. The other thing is the high winds. There is a Category 4 hurricane that's 500 miles away, and that's what they're blaming the winds on, but these fires are known to happen simultaneously with high wind. From Paradise to Boulder, Colorado, when these fires happen, there's a high wind that kicks up simultaneously. And right now, they're blaming this one on the hurricane that's 500 miles away. I think that might be questionable.
We had debris just falling on us, and so we were hiding behind this this little house right in front of the Lahaina Pioneer Inn, and we couldn't stay there any longer. It was just too hot, and so I called the police, and they told us to jump in the water, and it was dark. We jumped in, you know.
So the realtor that they interviewed said the cell towers are just no longer there, which is true according to the person who took this video too. They say the cell tower burned down. How weird is that? Well, it's very common when the fire is electricity based. So is it a media blackout and they just don't want this information getting out, so they've kind of like scrubbed the internet of any private citizens uploading video? Or is it that the cell towers are burned down, or is it both? Listen to this guy say the cell tower burned down.
All the cell towers have burnt down.
Correction, he didn't say a cell tower burned down. He said all the cell towers are burned down.
All the cell towers have burnt down. Really? And everything.
Notice this tree is burning hot right in the middle. And I've identified this process before where it burns the tree from the center at center mass. And the social media blackout on this subject is understandable. To keep the cattle from stampeding. They don't allow people in general to see the details of what's really happening there until most of the carnage is cleaned up. So this is what you're going to see all over, is structures burned to the ground with the trees between them still standing. But right now, all you're getting is vague images from afar without any focus on any of the detail from the mainstream news outlets. Here you can see there is ground scorch beneath the trees. The trees did not burn. The ground beneath them scorched. And you can see all of the structures burning. House, house, house. One there and one there. Ground scorch all about, but the trees remain standing while the house is burned to the ground. Standard plasma fire, but this is next level. Whatever's going on there, right now there's a blackout in the media and all you're getting is sanitized, watered down coverage, not actual boots on the ground, regular people using their cell phone and uploading it to social media. That is blocked right now. So hopefully this video will make it up. individual structures on fire, but the tree limbs right here are not on fire.
Everything burns.